Kuva e holo kuva. Holo kuva palolo I kaino o puna e. O puna kaina no hoa kawahine. Kawahine ita iu o na mauna e. I ho kele ia e ke kai kunane e. Ua I ke ai. In the time before our Mākua, before our kupuna, before the greats of the greats, in the time before this aina unfolded us from its lepo to become its descendants, there was a massive shark swimming in the waters off of Mākua. His name is Kamohoali'i, the eldest and most kapu brother of the goddess Pele. On the sands of Mākua, he spied a beautiful woman bathing in the water and instantly fell in love with her. But by the time he assumed the form of a man, upon coming on the beach, this woman was gone. Assuming the form of a man as he walked around in this area, many thought that he was an ali'i because of his stature. But he began to ask about the woman, and finally someone told him that the woman's name is Kale, that she lived that way. He found her, they met, and fell in love, and lived together. Soon she was hapai, with child. And before she gave birth, Kamohoali'i revealed himself to Kale and said, "Now I must tell you that I'm the ali'i of sharks, and that Pele is my sister. Now I must assume the form that is truly mine. But while I am gone, take caution. First, name our child Nanaue. It will be a boy. And then, when it is born, be certain that our son is never fed any kind of meat, in case he eventually develops a taste for a particular kind of flesh." Kale honors this request of her husband. As the boy grows up, he is strong, tough, nearly fearless. And one day as she is sitting on the sand near the beach, and Nanaue is frolicking in the water, she notices the strange indentation in the middle of his back and calls him over. She comes to his mother, Kale turns him around and looks at the indentation, and awe, it is the developing mouth of a shark. Thereafter, she makes him wear a kihe to hide the mark. And as Nanaue grows up, he's adventurous. He likes to go places. And one day, he has to go to the halimua with his grandfather. And there's the initiation into the men's house. And because of that, Nanaue no longer sleeps in the women's house. And by his grandfather, he is fed meat and develops a particular kind of taste for it. So much so that when he's a bit older, in front of his house, tending to the mala, he notices some kids from nearby walking past his hale and says, "Aloha." "Aloha," they say to him. And then Nanaue says, "Ihe ana oko, where are you folks going?" And they say, "I kai mako," to the ocean. "Maka'ala. Aya paha ka mano malaila." "Be careful," he said. "There might be sharks." Later in the afternoon, the same children now coming back past Nanaue's house, crying and wailing. "Oh, aue," Nanaue says, "Ua ha'ia. What has happened?" The children say, "Wa pau ki kahia mako I ka mano." One of us has been eaten by a shark. "Wa ha'imoa wau ia oko, maka'ala. Aya paha ka mano malaila." I've told you once before to be careful, that there might be sharks. One day, Nanaue is involved in a serious digging contest with some children from nearby, and he hates to lose. And as he is digging furiously, matching strength for strength, suddenly his kihei falls off. And to their horror, his friends see in the middle of his back the massive mouth of a shark. It starts snapping at them. They all fall upon him, his playmates, the parents, and they beat him and they bound him hand, feet, and around the knees. Now carrying him up into the valley where there waits for him an imu, where he will be baked alive. But before he's tossed in, he calls for the help of his father. The father hears this cry for help and sends into the valley a massive wave that gathers up his son and takes him back to the ocean. And they say that Nanaue is never seen again. But soon rumors begin to surface that on the island of Molokai, there is an aikanaka, a man-eating shark that's been troubling people. Years later on, decades, centuries, people in the area begin to say, late at night, as they travel past the mouth of this cave, sometimes within is a fire. And over the flames, the sizzling piece of meat hanging from a stick, and that stick being held by an old, bent Hawaiian man, wrinkled, long, white, matted hair. And sometimes he sees the traveler peering into the cave and says, "Hui, hui, mai noho ai inu I ka awa, mai." The traveler comes and has his fill of meat and his fill of awa, suddenly becomes lethargic and dizzy. They say at that point, that old Hawaiian man assumes the form of a massive shark and does not kill the traveler right away, but instead leaves him on this slab of stone until the body becomes putrid and more delicious, where he consumes it. And that is the story of Nanaue and his father, Kamohoali'i. On certain nights, when people come here, they tell me they don't enter because for some reason, as quiet as this cave is, it is filled with the smell of lipua, of seaweed. And I say to them, good thing you didn't go inside. When I was growing up here, I was told that is one of the signs that either Nanaue or Kamohoali'i is home. And you should stay away. Ua i ke a